play a game of Find the Cursor. Okay, got it. Doo-ba-doo. Hi everyone. Hi Kevin. Hi Liot Art. Hi Toke. Hi Dr. S.G. Leonard. Hello Alex. Hi Lana. Joy. Malvina. Hi Jen. Hi Patricia. Hi Kelly. Hi Nettie. Atto! Hello Atto! Hey, Izo Inc. It's been a while. Hey Misha. How is everyone this Saturday? I need to adjust my chair. Hey, the naughty printmaker. Hey, Mikey. Hey, Melissa. The naughty printmaker says, "Hey, y'all, I'm freezing my butt off at an art market today, but just, hey, best of luck at the market. And I'm glad you liked this week's illustration. Thank you. Hi, Alan. Hi, Sterling. Hi, Judith. It's a nice mix of familiar names and new names in the chat. That's awesome. Still is a bit of a... Oh, not that bad. The mess doesn't show too much on camera. That's great. Like, everything outside the camera frame is a great big mess. So, yeah. It's basically, like, just about shuffling things around until it's a bit more usable. That's the usual way everything goes. Oh, come on. Pile of stuff. Hey, Steve! Hi! Yeah, the drawings are available for download on Gumroad. And it's on a voluntary basis for the payment, so you can get them for free. And print them out and color them, transfer, paint, do whatever you want. If you have kids... Hold on. Darn it, stupid paper towel. Okay. If you have grandkids or kids, you can feel free to print them, and if they want to color them, that's perfectly fine. I'm making sure that the ink that went over the masking tape is dry. It's been about an hour since I finished transferring this, but ink on tape is... Look, it's still kind of wet, so if I try to erase over that, it's gonna smudge a lot. Oh, hi! I'm not sure I can read the Cyrillic alphabet, so, hi! Person with a Cyrillic alphabet name. I'm sorry. Oh, a throat cold. Ugh. Yeah, being like, swallowed in blanket sounds like a good plan. Amisha says my current painting is driving me nuts though. Oh no! How come? I agree with Malvina. Malvina says to Otto that she saw Otto's Q&A and would like to say that Otto looks very good and young in short hair, and I completely agree. Hey Agnieszka! Hey Marla! Hi Alina! Oh yeah, my desk is insane. It's like, every time I try to manage it a bit, like I turn around and it's back to where it was. Cyrillic name is Eliza. Oh, thank you so much. Hi Eliza! Heat setting might help, but I don't know how heat setting with some tape on, how the tape reacts to that. Like, would the glue from the tape do something weird on the paper? I don't know. Hey Val. Otto's hair is epic. Oh, I so wish I could pull it off. Because I completely agree with the... Like, it takes 20 seconds to watch and 5 seconds to dry. Part of it. Hey, thank you for putting the link up about where to get this illustration. My eraser fell in a bin earlier. No, it's not a mess. What do you mean my space is a mess? It's not. I need to cut this, trim this up some more. Without killing everyone with headphones by bumping the mic. The mic. It's just not matching the pic in my head. I don't know if that's comforting or the opposite, but I wonder if the painting ever ends up like the image in one's head. I know mine don't really do that. Mostly because the image in my head is often very, very simple. Like, I will just... Hold on. Let me... Is it still in there? Oh, it's still in there. Come on. Out of the scanner. Into my hands. So, this is my current sketchbook. I've showcased it before. And, like, I think on paper. So, I had the idea, was like, doodling cats around. And then I just started doodling a cat. And I was like, oh, this one is sitting. Could be sitting with the buddy. And after a hike. And then I build it up from there. So... the image in my head sort of happens as far as I go. And even then, like when I do the finished thing, I always adjust and change stuff. So I don't feel personally that it's constructive to put that much pressure on one when they are painting. It's weird when it doesn't look when it's working. Otto looks like the kind of person you really want to spend an afternoon with and just like drink tea and talk about stuff and swatch paints. Though she would probably be like me, like it sounds great, but then we're like, oh, but that means being with people, and then it becomes instantly something that is like, wait. Hold on. Hey, that reminds me, I was thinking of doing something at some point. It would be kind of like a live stream, but it would be a really sort of freeform live stream. And it would basically be like at the set time on the set day, just to have like create your own little cafe atmosphere. Like have a cup of tea or drink or anything, have maybe a cookie in a plate, have a candle, have some chill music. And we could all like hang out together as if we were all sitting in a cafe. But not really, you know what I mean? I don't know if it would be a live stream or perhaps just a something with the audio on Discord. But I was wondering if that could be a thing that can sort of happen. I definitely want to come over and have tea with you. Like, I feel that, like, with Otto, we are really well matched in terms of introvertedness. So I think there would be a moment where we just don't talk and just do things, and it's perfectly fine. There's, like, no pressure to fill up the quiet moment or, you know, just really be able to chill and not feel so conscious of like, oh, I smudged it anyway. I tried so hard to check it up and then I smudged it. Oh well. No biggie. We can all complain up the hill. Oh my gosh, yes. Which is what we do when we watch Otto's video, drink tea and just watch with her. Yeah, that's a good point. The coffee and chill. I think there would be like something... Oh, zoom. Do you want me to zoom in on the picture? Yeah, it's after a video conference of introverts that just stay home and chill together. I just thought it was funny because I think like if we were all of us to go through an actual coffee and chill, it would be so like everybody would be so hyper and nervous in the beginning and then flat out dead at the end of it. Everybody just like flat out of spoons and energy. It's this weird thing, like I think with a bunch of introverts, including myself, like we can function in the public space with the group. Like when I meet up with my friends, it's fine, but it is draining. So it's like it couldn't do that like many evenings in a row. It is inspired by your hiking adventure, Otto. It could be the two of us. Aw, thank you so much, Steve. That would so be the case, though. I think it would be like winded and eating snacks and basically going like, ah, what was that? What was that hill? Ah, it was so steep. Scooty, mon bébé. Tu me l'amènes-tu? Tu me l'amènes-tu, gros bébiton? Il me va tout le face.
La sécheuse.
Comment ça, miaou? Hello. Hello, Scooty. Alors, attends. Alors, tout le monde. Toutes les chats. Qu'est-ce que je vais faire? Invasion de chat. Non, donne-moi pas ma chaise, Pico. Crap. Oh non. Je peux m'asseoir sur Pico.
Tu changer de chat?
Ben oui, toute contente là. Mais prépare ta chaise, ouais. Tu vas avoir besoin de... There's Pickle also, just on my chair. Mais non, mais t'es trop cute. She's upside down, but you can see her there. This is big tuna face. Yeah, of course, I can paint the cats to fur to represent Otto and I. That would be funny. They would just complain for hours. Yeah, I called Scout Tuna Face. Non mais il y a déjà un chat sur la chaise, comment tu... Oh mais arrête, toi t'es la pire. Comment je vais faire? Pas de chaise, trop de chat. Viens en face de ton. Tu ne fais bien avec moi. Oui, je sais, miam. Voilà. Hein, belle place, confortable. Beau blanket. Super bien, tout à ma chaise. Moi, j'ai plus de chaise. Ouch! Ok. 1, 2. Écoute, je l'ai mis sur ma chaise.
Okay.
Elle a essayé d'aller sur la chaise avec Péco. Attendez, lui sniffer brousse-poil.
Oui.
C'est moi qui veux être là, c'est pas toi! Bon.
Je ferme la porte?
Ouais. Okay, hold on. Let me set up the cats. C'est bon? Les minettes, vous êtes bien installées? Ah, t'as de la bête, c'est good. Oops. Okay, so sur le tops. Okay, sorry about that. That's a lot of... Oh, did it. Whew. So I'm gonna be grabbing Mr. E's chair because... Alright. We're back. Oh yeah, Quebecois French is really, really lumberjack French. I'm not even saying that to be cute. I think that lumberjack is a cute way of saying that we butcher French so bad. Yeah, I set up the kitty count, which is kind of funny because earlier I was talking to the cats and I was like, hey guys, I'm live streaming later today. You know, if you want to come give a show, people would be happy to see you, and there they are. Apparently Scout really wanted to get into the dryer, but since we're not done with laundry, that's not a very good idea. Hey, the glitter crayon, hi. How many cats is too many cats? Pfft, no such thing. Is the cat cam good enough? I know all we're seeing are cat butts and back of heads, but yeah, I need to hype them up for the show every time. I feel like they realize that they get a lot of attention throughout that, and they're like, oh, not a bad idea. According to German law, 30 cats in an apartment are too many. That's a fair amount. If you get to 30 cats, you're nicely set. Hey, Lewis, hi. Okay, so I will start like I sort of always do by painting the sky. It's just the way I roll. I think they fill the watercolor tubes from the butt end. I think they get them with the cap on already, and this is open, like it's a big tube, and they fill it in, and then the machine crimps the end, and that's the end of it. All right. The cats really crack me up. What are you guys doing? Which cat do you want to be, Otto? Which cat do you feel is most like you? No cerulean, it's palette mud with cobalt teal and helio turquoise. Palette mud, it's mostly the mix of ultramarine blue and a sienna color. Because my palette is really like full and I never wash it really. So either, well, I will wash it if there's really no way to start a mix from whatever is on the palette. But if there is a way I can sort of reuse something that's on the palette, it's okay. Not super picky. Left one. But I think that's very fitting because I feel like the right one looks like it just farted, and that's kind of fitting with my sense of humor. Yeah, the sky color is lovely, though keep in mind that the camera doesn't necessarily render it the exact same color that it is in real life. It's very sort of slightly muted greenish blue. Like I was saying in my color mixing video, not last week but the week before that, I really like my default color for sky is more on the green blue side of things. Like I really like using cobalt teal for sky colors. I tried painting a sky with French ultramarine in my latest video and it really confused me up. I was like, this is such a weird color. Hey, Tsukaboo, hi. Using custom color palette mode too. Yeah, that's my palette definitely doesn't show on camera. Hold on. I will show it while this blue dries a bit. Oh, hold on. I need to snap this up too. This setup is so MacGyver. Whew. Okay, so this is my palette. As you can see, it's pretty full of mixes, I mean. So I often keep this area for the colors that I mix often and that I need large quantities of. So that's usually sky colors, grass, forest colors, and this side is what I need less quantity of course. So like when I'm gonna paint the cats, I'm probably gonna use some of this a lot. And the only thing I wish I had is a smaller pan, like but maybe a small container or anything that I could put in there and add some opera pink, the Magello one, because it's the best one. Yeah, cobalt teal and French ultramarine is really, really nice. I really like it, but it's just weird to use just ultramarine. I'm always like, why is the sky purple? I know it's not purple, but like my brain sort of doesn't register that as sky color. Someone should sell a color called palette mud. The sky color is palette mud, like as we were saying. And cobalt teal and a bit of helio turquoise, which is PB16 from Schminke. Yeah, teal and ultramarine is really, really fun. Hey, Stephen, hi. Do you prefer flat washes or more texture washes? Depends on what the wash is for. I feel like for stone, skies, large areas, especially stone, like texture adds a lot to make the color more interesting. But for certain things like human skin, possibly certain flowers, like there are other settings in which having a granulating color is gonna be weird. C'est pas spéco. Bin! Bin! Allez mon bébé. Cutie pie. It's not a Peko stream if she doesn't end up washing your bum. Her bum. What am I saying? Where did you find a tiny pan, Sterling? It's Payne's DV's James Gray. Hey, Lindsay, hi. Use your leftovers to make palette mud paints. It's a bit like, you know, when people do the acrylic skin thing and you sort of pile them on and then you cut them and you have this really weird sort of layering of colors in there. So I'm gonna have to use another granulating mix because I did draw a bunch of rocks in there. Now I just gotta figure out which one I want to use. I feel like the Sennelier, it's still on my desk from the video, but the teal and caput mortem from Sennelier would possibly complement the sky color well. That might be fun. What about the tiny traveling Delarani set? They don't have pans. They are directly in the palette. Thinking of naming my birds. So yeah, it's just like a metal tin with the metal compartment, and it's tiny blocks of paints in there. Huh. Ah, yuck. Not what I was wanting to do. Ugh. Yeah, I noticed that when I removed the raw sienna pan that was here, that part of it was sort of corroded. And then I placed some gamboge from Daniel Smith in there, and I'm noticing that probably won't show, but it's sort of being corroded on the same area. So if I ever decide to clean this up, I probably have to add a bit of enamel paint over here. There must be a niche, not a niche, but a scratch in the enamel. Oh no problem. But I saw someone on Etsy that was selling quarter pans. Maybe I need to look into that a bit more. Or bribe someone with a 3D printing machine to make it a tiny, sorry, a narrow but longer pan to fit in there. Oh, yours is made from sheet metal. And it doesn't rust? You don't have issue with the water? Sterling? I should mention who I'm talking about when I reply. They don't have tiny pans to refill the set, but you can refill it using hold on, my brain is blanking out. Slices of Daniel Smith, what do they call them? They're watercolor sticks. You can buy Winsor & Newton pans. Since they are extruded pans, you can cut them. And I think if you're super crafty and patient, you can use those silicone tiny ice cube trays and fill them in layers and then try to pop them out. So that you would have like tiny squares of paint. Oh, cut the half pan down. But that also works. I think the quarter pans are metal. No, it is made for AC stuffs, so I think it is meant to... Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I think you could also, unless it's a really runny paint, you can probably like pour some tube paint in there and it's not gonna move much. What? Otto! Buy it! I mean, what? I can't check it up, but good grief. Okay, I gotta go check that out though. You're gonna see my butt. Butt. Where is it? Oh, I hate this thing. This. Okay, no, okay, it's a lot more expensive. I think you missed the 0 in your description. Because, oh my gosh, hold on. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm wearing my my buffalo plaid top, but it's not 15 pound. It's gotta be 150 pound. Because if it was for 15 pound, oh my, it would fly off out of there. Yeah, because I mean, for 15 pound, I'll take it. We're all gonna take it for that price. Yeah, I'm always a bit, this is something I noticed when I was looking up the used brushes thingy. And like used stuff sellers, they are really hoping to make a quick buck with this stuff. Gee. Like some really inexpensive craft level brushes, and they sell them for like at least $1 per brush, and you're like, nope. These should be like included for free with actual good brushes, because way not that great. Same kind of applies with paint or vintage paints sometimes, but I can understand that some vintage paints are possibly more valuable than other. Like if someone has a bijou, a Winsor & Newton set, like a genuine one, those usually sell for quite a lot of money. But they are also quite unique. Like it's not like Winsor & Newton still makes them. They really should, but they don't. I just put my finger into Caput Mortem. It is really, really lovely. Like it is the kind of set that you feel a bit bummed that you missed out on it when it was actually available. But I mean, in the end, it's also just, you know, paint. I try to keep in mind that like I have a great collection of sets already, so. But I mean, it's like the collector mindset. Like it's a pretty item that you feel like you'd want to take a look at and use, so. You know, the only thing I would... You have to create a paper mache volcano, but I think the fact that it would be ground mummy would be really, really weird. But I think the aspect of it that I find the weirdest is like, do you think the paint smelled? It had to, I mean, desiccated human beef jerky in there. Oh no, Otto! I'm so sorry you feel like you've got to lay down. Oh no. I hope you feel better soon. Peko is sending purrs and fur. I think there wouldn't be any bacteria or moisture left in the corpses. Yeah, but then you have to prepare the paint with them. So you gotta add the binder and wet the thing and let it dry, and then when you paint with it, you re-wet it again. So I'm just... And maybe it doesn't smell of anything, but part of me is really curious to about that grim detail. Can you buy empty watercolor tubes? You can. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like dry meat and dry fish. Oh my gosh, dry fish is really, really stinky. I would think it would be more the resin. Oh, that's also true, yeah. Hey, Stanislav, hi. Oh, she did. Ooh. What color did I use for this guy? I used some palette mud, some leftover mix of French ultramarine and burnt umber, I think, plus cobalt teal and helio turquoise. So a really tealy color with a really turquoise color like this, and with some gook leftover that was on my palette. I think crypts would be musty because they would have somewhat more humidity in them than say the pyramids in Egypt. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Nancy. Of course, Pickle. Bien sûr. Ah, t'es cute. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Tu peux prendre un quart. Hey, Jen. Oh, hold on, tea break. I think you get a somewhat romantic idea of what an archaeologist do. Or does. Hey, babytje. Yeah, I think Indiana Jones has a really glammed up the work of archaeologists. There's a channel that's in French, but it's a YouTube channel, and the owner is a French archaeologist. And yeah, it's really not like a super glamorous job, and you spend a lot of time digging and finding like pottery shards and I don't know, like really boring stuff, like pieces of pipes, of clay pipes and that kind of stuff. He was saying his analogy to explain what they end up actually doing as far as he's concerned is a bit like you have a really big cathedral that is all in the dark. It's absolutely all in the dark. You can't see anything. All you have to light up the place is a tiny candle that you have. And he said that basically like the whole process was you take the candle, you move it to a place, you look at that place, and then you take the candle, you move it to another place and you look at that place. So that's basically like the pace and the like, it's really not that exciting. Though I guess finding something is exciting, but it seems like it's 99.9% of the time just being super careful about how you remove the layers of ground and try not to miss any clues about how people lived there before. Hey, Box of Paint, hi! There's a really good British show that is called Detectorists that I've mentioned before. I really loved it. But yeah, it shows a bit how detectorists, people with metal detector, they sort of mess up like stuff that could be really valuable to archaeologists. Because in their search to find precious metals like old gold coins and jewelry and all of that, they don't necessarily take any care in preserving the layers in which everything was found, which is something that highly interests archaeologists, because by studying these layers they can sort of learn a lot about how people lived. And yeah, so there's a bit of a clash of intentions and action in there. I think Kremer sells empty tubes. You can check up Kremer's German website, maybe. Okay. That's the thing we sort of ended up talking about recently. There's a dude on YouTube whose whole deal is that he scuba dives to pick up what's on the bottom of rivers and lakes and all of that. Like people who drop their phones, their smartwatch and all of that. And I kind of like that, but yeah, and there was another guy that would use a metal detector in those rivers. And I feel like it's possibly a less disruptive way to use that, because what you will find in the rivers has either been carried there by the water, so it's dislodged anyway, or it's more modern things that people have dropped. I hope I'm not rambling too much. I have a sort of fascination with the archaeological stuff, in the sense that conspiracy theories really crack me up. And there's a French guy who has a really silly notion of what the Egyptians did and all of that, and it really makes me laugh because it's nonsense. So I've sort of learned a bit about archaeology through watching people debunk his nonsense. Oh, what am I doing? I got distracted. Painted over everything. Oh, if you search for empty watercolor tubes on Kremer. That's weird. I think it's in their they have a section on their menu that like for accessories and stuff. But perhaps it's only the American website. I wouldn't know. Ah, Buxapaint, I hope you're able to keep her or at least help her. She is... Emerald is like... I melted inside when I saw her. She's adorable. Oh, Kevin says, is anyone else scared of the coronavirus? Are you guys scared of the coronavirus? Oh, that's really cool. Steve says, one time I found a stone arrowhead in a deer vertebrae. Old but not fossil. Very cool to see when farming. Yeah, that's the thing. I think like finding older stuff like arrowheads, they're not fossils, they're not super old, but it's still history. And it's really interesting to see that, say you find some on your property, it means that like it tells you a bit about what happened on this property a long time before you were there. That's fascinating. I am not really worried about the coronavirus either. You have to be immunocompromised or, again, perhaps really young or older. Oh, that's so cool. Ellen says, my friend's farm is littered with old arrowheads. It's neat to walk the hayfields. I would love to do that. When I was watching the guys who either scuba dive to the bottom of water to find stuff, even if it's modern stuff, or the guy with his metal detector in the river, I was like, I would so love to do that. I don't know, I think I often dream about finding stuff in a river. So, I don't know, it sort of really felt appealing. I finally found a squirrel bear. Hi. I was looking at Reuters. I don't know how you say it, but Reuters, like the news sort of outlet, and they had a special page on stuff about the coronavirus. And finally, I saw a graph that compared the effects of the coronavirus to MERS. So that's Middle Eastern respiratory something, and SARS, which is the severe acute respiratory something. And really, like, perhaps a lot of people get sick from coronavirus, but a lot less die from it. Like, a lot less. Reuters? Well, could be. In French, it would literally be Reuters. So I'm just like, no idea. Okay, if you're looking for tubes to put watercolor in, look out, if you have AliExpress, look up for lip balm tubes. You might be able to find plastic tubes that are transparent, they are not that big, and you can easily remove the spout. You know, the sort of lip gloss kind of tip, and it kind of looks just like a regular tube. I think what is really sad to see about Roy, not Patrick Roy, Reuters, sorry. Yeah, the thing that I personally feel is the worst regarding the coronavirus is how the people of Wuhan are treated, which is not super great. They're probably hoping that this ends soon. Hopefully. So Otto really likes to dress in gray and black. So let's see what I can do. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat would be at a higher risk because of chronic illnesses and being immunocompromised. Alex, you mean it's not effective to to sort of abandon the people of Wuhan to their There's a few cases in Canada, but nothing really worrying. most people who were diagnosed with it in Canada, as far as I know, they were aware that there was a risk they had been in contact with it. So they were already in self-isolation. So I think that might have helped not spreading the virus. That's possibly the thing I'm most surprised about, like seeing that people are being somewhat responsible about this. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? Humans being responsible? Wait, is this Earth? Did we explode and I didn't notice? What's going on? I kid, but you know what I mean. Oh, quarantine doesn't really help. Well, I figured that it maybe helps if you have a plane like coming back from Wuhan and you sort of have to quarantine the people from the plane just to wait and see if they have the virus. Yeah, we are talking about the coronavirus. But I mean, closing off help to the people of Wuhan is not great. The guy, there's a video on YouTube and it's from a young man who lives in Wuhan, and he was saying like how all public transportation has stopped. There's no cabs. So if someone is sick, if they feel like they might have the virus, they cannot get to a hospital. And even if they get there, they're gonna have to wait in line for a really long time. So let's assume that they felt weird but they didn't have the coronavirus. Since they've had to wait in line with other people who might have the virus as well, now their chance of actually having the virus are much higher. The one case over in London, Ontario, the woman came home, isolated herself, and wore a surgical mask to the hospital, and went above and beyond to quarantine ourselves. I'm also very proud of her. Ducks are proud of her. I am too. I am not familiar with using tubes, Toki. Perhaps if you may ask Dan about that. Penholder Heart. I don't think he's in the chat today, but if you have a way to write to him on Twitter or Instagram, he might know more about this. I think he's been using some metal tubes. Yeah, that's I feel like that's a good idea, Alex, isn't it? To like the nationals, they are bringing back from Wuhan, like Canadian nationals and U.S. nationals, all of that. Once they get off the plane, they quarantine them for like 2 weeks to wait and see if they have the virus. I feel like that's. I personally feel like that's not a bad idea, but then again, what do I know? I'm not that worried about the coronavirus because the flu kills about 61,000 people per year. Yeah, but so far, I mean, the numbers are really growing fast about the coronavirus. It really feels like if you guys have played Plague Inc., I think, which is a game that was made to sort of be just like virus epidemics. You sort of create your own virus and you try to contaminate the whole planet. It's a bit dark in humor, but what I find interesting is that when you play the game, like, you have to sort of find ways to make your virus mutate and trump the way the humans try to get rid of it. And it's interesting to see like we are currently doing some of the humans in the game try to do. And or Pandemic. I think it was Pandemic. So like, oh, you would get message in the game like, oh, this country has closed up their airports, and I'm like, I see like, oh, well, like we see it now, like this country has closed their airports, and I'm like, yeah, good job, guys, you're on the way to really give this virus a hard time. I recognize that it's not reality, but it's sort of interesting to draw the parallel. I hope no one we know, or no one you know, gets the coronavirus. Or that if they do, they are amongst those who can fight it off. Yeah, washing hands. I'm sorry, but Alex, you're so right. Plague Inc. teaches us, if anything, Madagascar is the only place safe and Greenland is already working on a cure. Oh, those who've played the game will immediately know what that's about. The body is technically designed to fight viruses. There are factors that can help or not help that, but if you take like just the basic knowledge of it, we are technically designed to be able to fight off viruses. It's bacteria that are problematic for us, that we need antibiotics for. I'm also allergic to penicillins. Yeah, they have other antibiotics. Anyway, they're more expensive, but they work just as well. During the Spanish flu epidemic in 1919, it killed about 1% of the people who got infected. That's 1 in 100 cases. Still a lot, but overall the odds are good. Coronavirus has similar numbers so far. Does it? I've read that it infected like 9,000 people, and there's about 200 deaths, sadly. Is that 1%? I don't think it is. It's lower than 1%. It's about 3%? If healthcare has taught me anything, human bodies are bizarre and durable things. Hey, Kristalla, hi. You should get a bracelet. I have one, I just never wear it. I know it's not good. Hey, Yang, by the way. How are you? Or should I call you Yang or Zhang? Or another way that, because I mispronounce both of those. Oh no. Hey Lee, you're right on time for our fun talk about the coronavirus. What really bothers me of the general coverage of the virus is the lack of perspective. Like, they will tell us a bunch of numbers or a bunch of things, and regular people like us don't... young, okay, cool. Don't have any way to put that in context. Like, if someone tells me there's X amount of death and X amount of people who contracted the virus, I'm like, okay, but how does that compare to things like the regular flu or SARS or MERS, or, you know? Like, how do I put this in context of the severity of what's going on? Oh, a tattoo! That's not... Yeah, the thing is the bracelet, I always remove it because it's like, it's annoying and it's noisy and it like bites into my skin, or I have to take it off or something and I forget to put it back on. Maybe I should get a tattoo. Let's talk about happier things, people. Do you guys see did you guys see that we have 2 cats today on the cat cam? Look, a kitty and another kitty over there. I didn't know that Medic Alert wants membership fees. I just got the bracelet thing with the logo on it, and you get it engraved, and that's it. That's the end of it, as far as I know. I mean, as you could get any kind of bracelet and have it written on there. Technically, if you end up unconscious in an ambulance, they should check for it anyway. Should they? What do I know? Thing is I also like to dress in black a lot. This is going to be a lot of black clothing on this drawing. But my autocorrect wants to be fart funny. Wait, what? Oh, okay, you can buy the bracelet, but if you want your files kept up for emergency contacts meds, I guess that might be more relevant if someone has a longer list of things they are allergic to. Like, as far as medicine goes, I'm only aware that penicillin gives me problems, so it's fairly easy to fit on a Medic Alert bracelet, like a penicillin allergy. Like, you don't really have to connect that to a bigger file. I wonder now, since that's a fairly common allergy, if in a case of emergency, if that's the antibiotic they will reach for first, like if they don't know whether someone is allergic or not, or if they will be more conscious of that possibility and give you something that is less allergenic. Something? Sorry. Oh, Jan says there was a statistic somewhere that this coronavirus is a 1, comma 2.2 ratio. Sorry, that's really difficult for me, the commas and semicolons, because in French it's really not the same, and I'm always like, whoa, which is which? Anyway, coronavirus is a 1, 2.2 ratio, so 1 person infected statistically infects 2.2 other people. SARS was 1,3. So SARS was a bit worse for that at the moment. It's really sad in a way, because we tend to blow this up so big that it makes people super stressed out. And when people are stressed out, they don't necessarily react the best way they should if something happens. Like, this is not a movie. Like, Lana, that's awesome. Okay, question. Do you know how to do a gouache palette without the paint getting cracked after drying? Yes and no. Don't do a gouache palette, would be my recommendation. Have the tubes handy and pour fresh paint when you need it. Because there's no way to have gouache dry well. You can put a bunch of stuff in there like glycerin and whatnot, but it still changes the composition of the paint and you might not get the results you want. Erythromycin is the alternative to penicillin. Happier topic. Yes, have you considered having a higher tier for your Patreon that includes shipping art supplies that you like, such as a brush a month or a new watercolor pan? Oh, that's an interesting idea. The thing is I would have to sort of figure out the logistics of that. I think Otto has a tier like that. I might have questions for her in that regard, but it's just that I don't... I'm really not good at figuring out what people want. So my idea is always like, I could do this vague, like I could have a Patreon and then I get to it and I'm like, oh, but what do I put on there? So I will try a bunch of things and see what has some interest, but it's kind of difficult. Though I will take some notes and keep it in mind, because why not? Hey, Lab Accident, thank you so much. I was considering at one time having a handmade paint pan, but that's a lot of logistics and a lot of work in a way, because it's not something you can say like, okay, I reserve a few days and I do it and then it's done. Is you have to do it, then you have to wait, then you have to do it again, and then you have to wait, and you have to check it to make sure it's okay, then you have to adjust, and then you have to wait. Like it's a process in like a billion steps. Also, I don't know like for how much such a tier should go. I will ask Otto. I think Otto has a similar thing, or at least had a similar thing. I was thinking of doing videos where I, like, every 3 months I make a compilation of the things that I really enjoyed working with in the past 3 months and make sort of a favorites video for the 3 months. So that could be a good way to think of supplies that would be fun to send out and share. I really wish the Canadian Postal Service was a bit more friendly in terms of shipping. It's still kind of pricey. I have to be super careful when I mail out paints. Like I cannot mail out when I make handmade paints. I cannot make it into a fancy packaging or something really cute and pretty, because oftentimes that means the envelope will be too thick, and then shipping ends up being double what it usually is, and that's a bit like crazy. So I have to keep the envelopes as flat as possible so I can keep in the tier that is manageable to offer shipping. Like, unless people want to pay like $15 for shipping, but I know that would make me cringe. Hey, MX Honeyfoot. Hi. How do you like the Caturday Museum watercolor pencils, Louis? Yeah. Are you in Canada, Young? Because it is weirdly complicated. Like, depending on what is considered oversized or what they assume can fit into a mail, the mailbox slot or whatnot, and it's like they try to get us to figure it out beforehand, but I'm always like, how am I supposed to do that? Like, it's so complex. Unless maybe if I worked like part-time for the post office, then I might be able to sort of know what to do and how to make it like the most efficient possible. But honestly, there's all sorts of things, and like if something is a specific size but under 100 grams, it's less expensive to ship it out that way. But if it's over 200 grams but the same size, then you're better off shipping it another way because it's going to be less expensive. And you're just like, how do you even figure this out? Oh, Calgary, awesome. Hey, bye Kelly, good luck. Hey Alexandra, hi. Good old Calgary. Don't they give you the exact sizes? Well, yes and no. Like, maybe I'm just not maybe I'm terrible at this, but whenever I've tried to check the website for like references that I could eventually maybe print and keep and use whenever I want to ship out stuff, I haven't found a really like condensed way of like, I haven't found a document that would help me figure this out. Like, that would include all the parameters, or even like if they had an online tool that is similar to what they use on the machines they have in the post office. Because like they weigh the thing, they measure the size, they can enter that into their computer, and then I guess they have a list of options for mailing something, which is something you can sort of do, but like if I was like, but yeah, I've tried using it a couple of times, but it's just a bit clunky, and it's like a lot of time you have to put into this thing on their website to input weight and size, and if you enter one thing wrong, I think it resets the whole thing and you have to enter everything again. And sometimes it's like when I get to the post office, it's I already have like the address I'm sending from and the address I'm sending to, so it's kind of easy to figure it out. But when I want to, like, say I want to calculate beforehand to offer accurate shipping prices on the things I sell, it's difficult because I don't have these addresses. Like, the website doesn't let you really enter an abstract. Just say like, I ship from this address and I'm shipping through the States, or I ship to Belgium, or you know, like something vague in terms of destination. They don't really let you do that. It's just as confusing for the employees. Oh no! We have a postal outlet at the store where I work. Oh no! Hey Lee, hi! Oh, chamomile tea. Yummy. Does Canadian shipping tends to be more than the US? Yes. I don't have a Venture One account. Or maybe I do, but it's in French and I don't know what it is. I have a business account on Canada Post stuff. It doesn't give you a lot of advantages. Like, it's mostly a tiny discount when you buy the envelopes they sell, and when you ship something with tracking, it has a teeny tiny like 5% discount. And you're like, well, it's better than a kick in the arse, so I'll take it, but that's a thing I end up saying really often. It's better than a kick in the ass. You're gonna tell me, well, a lot of things are better than a kick in the ass. And I'm like, that's the whole point. Like, being kicked in the butt doesn't set the bar really high. That's venture one? Okay. It's been handy a couple of times, like I've saved 12 cents on an envelope somewhere. Or... You also have to remember the tax they put on the edit too. I don't mind tax. I just wish they would include it in the price beforehand so you can do the maths yourself and figure out if something is going to end up costing an arm and a leg or just an arm. There's a company that I really like buying clothing from. It's called Tentry, and it's in British Columbia. And they have a really interesting approach regarding sustainability and reusing like plastic bottles to make fabric. And, you know, I kind of like them. It's a bit expensive, but yeah, it's like, if I can, I try to get stuff from them. But yeah, there's always the moment where you're like, oh, they have a sale, that's awesome. You get a few things and you see the balance in the checkout, and you're like, oh, it's a bit pricey, but okay, good. And then you move to the next step in the checkout process, and they add the tax in, and you're like, ouch. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, it's like, hey, there you go, some extra $30 to pay, and you're like, oh, come on. $30, what? If it was included, I wouldn't have this moment of disappointment. My family always added that the kick was from a frozen shoe. Ow! Ow! Better than a kick in the pants. Yeah, that's also quite true. Hey, Bastet, hi! What's up, raisin hater? Ça va bien. Ça va bien. Yeah, it goes. It goes. I don't know if that's a thing you say in English, but that's something we ended up saying here because it cracks me up. Well, you ended up saying like the verb for know, like knowing, c'est ça va bien. So it's the CA, like the stupid C with the thing under it, CA space VA space bien. But yeah, since it's ça va bien, it basically translates to it goes well. So sometimes when we speak between us and we're like, hey, something you would ask your friends is like, hi, ça va? It's like, how are you? So we go like, hey, it goes. And it makes me laugh. I'm glad it's the same price in the US wherever you ship. It might be easier to figure things out. What are you gonna ignore it? Oh, the football game. If you like Tentry's company values, you might like Belroy. Ooh, I will also write down. Do you know of Tentry, Young? I figured that it's maybe easier to find in Canada because that's where I found it, like in that's not what I'm looking for. In a Canadian shop for like outdoorsy stuff. The only thing that bothers me is that they don't sell leggings. And I'm like, dudes, why not? What was your Discord server again? The link is in the description. You can scroll down and check in the description. The link should be there. You just click on it and it's going to take you either to Discord if you already have an account. Otherwise, it's going to take you to a page where you can easily create an account in a few steps and then you're set to go. Ça va can mean anything in French. Context is everything. I'm trying to picture it in different context. It can be a question, it could be an answer. Usually you add something after it. Like, ça va bien, ça va mal. It's literally, it goes. So whatever you put after that, it goes well, it goes bad, it goes, you know. Oh yeah, it's going all right. But I kind of like to translate it really awkwardly and go, it goes. Yes, Tentry is so nice for its value sometimes. Really? In thrift stores? Oh my gosh, wow. I've never found any Tentry in thrift stores over here. Then again, I've never given any Tentry to gift stores yet, but it's super comfy stuff and I kind of like the colors. They have a lot of this charcoal gray fabric that is super comfy. I need to paint more and talk less, I think. Okay. I like Tentry and I really like Patagonia as well. Though Patagonia is more US based than Tentry is. But they also really have this strong focus on repairing clothing and they offer, I think, free repairs if you send in your messed up garment and they will fix it. It's about wearing stuff with for the longest time possible and not end up creating more waste than necessary. Tentry is all about their main tagline is that for every item you purchase from them you receive a token, and if you take the time to enter the tokens code on their website they will plant 10 trees somewhere that needs more trees. And it's usually in really in nice setups where they make the local people work and they pay them for the work, and like it gives them a lot of opportunities to be more self-sufficient and healthier, as far as they will let us know. But yeah, there hasn't been any reason so far to doubt their words on this. The auto subtitles made this. I have to pay more taxes. I don't think I earn enough money to be. Well, we have like taxes on everything you purchase, but you also have tax on your income when the tax season comes up. But I think I'm not earning enough to be to pass the threshold. Hey Cleo, hi. I love your outlines. Oh, thank you so much. Do you have a favorite brand of pencil you like to use, everyone? I like to try to practice French sometimes. Whenever I try to speak it, I butcher it so bad. Is your dad, you have a name that sounds really like French Canadian, so is that where it's from? Pico, tu vas tomber! Oh my god, Scott, t'es tout croche. I don't really have a specific brand of pencil that I like more than the rest. I will often go for mechanical pencils. What is the handmade paints? It's basically crafting your own paints by mixing pigment, gum arabic, water, and possibly honey together into a paste that you mold, and it becomes watercolor. And then you can pour it into pans and let it dry, and it's dry watercolor, like a pan you would buy from Schminke or another brand like that. For my personal use of pencils, it's often just in preliminary steps. I don't do any rendering in pencil, so it's not super important to me the type of pencil that I end up using. I just need something that, like if it's on watercolor paper, I need something that will erase well, or sometime I might need a colored lead for something, but yeah, it's not super relevant. I will ink over it or scan it and then do something else with it. I often sketch with a ballpoint pen just because it doesn't smudge, so it's really not a big preoccupation. I just don't like using hard leads like the H. It's a bit too hard for me, and I end up pressing so hard that it's too much pressure. Yeah, I have a link for handmade paints. I think the store is empty at the moment, but that's because I'm working on fulling and drying pans, and when those will be ready, I will package them and I will update the shop with everything. It's a really fun way to really understand how your tool is made and what goes into making it work properly. Like, it's interesting. It also gives you some sort of control over the colors you use. Hey Nancy, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great day. I have Greek heritage on my dad's side. Hold on, did I miss? Sometimes making your own paints make you realize that certain paints you buy have a lot more into them than you would have thought. Like, some pigments are really, really hard to turn into paint. So then when you look at the commercially available paints of the same pigment, you're like, oh, okay, I see now what all that goes into making this a good paint, you know, because I tried doing it by hand and either I could or couldn't do it. Some pigments are really bothersome, and I guess some pigments are more intended for oil paint than watercolor. Fight vampires. Yeah, you can use the really hard pencils to fight vampires. It's basically a steak Steak? No, not the meat, but the piece of wood that you can carry with you everywhere. Oh, that reminds me, I tried watching the Dracula show on Netflix. And I couldn't do it. Oh my gosh. It was a bit, like, I think I lasted for 15 minutes and then I was like, yeah, this is not for me. Let's watch something else instead. What's your favorite paint to make? Favorite pigment? Any pigment that is well behaved is a lot of fun to make. Those are the pigments where you can mold them for a reasonable amount of time. They take in the pigment, they bind well. Some pigments you have to mold for a really long time and they will react with the water. Like some are hydrophilic and other are hydrophobic. So sometimes some pigments, those that like water are the easiest to work with because they wet well and you can mold them and it's agreeable. Agreeable? Is that an English word? Does it mean what I think it means? But yeah, and that's quite a few pigments are like that. But then again, some other pigments are really a headache. Like you keep on adding water into them and they always feel like they need more water because I don't know what happens, and you try to bind them to the paper, but no matter how much binder you put in, they kind of don't want to stop rubbing off, and it's just I heard it was bad. Was it that bad? Oh, it was. In my opinion, for what I like, it was absolutely dreadful. They remind me of the kind of stuff that Adam Sandler does, in the sense that I feel like Moffat and Gatiss, they don't write real human beings. They write weird Frankenstein creatures of like a bit of humanity, but a great big part of them trying to force something into the character that doesn't feel natural and that doesn't work. Yeah, there is a cat cam. Ah, this was good. Ooh la la. So the dark one is named Scout, and this one here, the white and orange one, is named Pecco. Adam Sandler technically he did Hotel Transylvania, right? Moffat was at his best. Oh, I think that's... I haven't watched Doctor Who, but I think I know of a few people who would argue on about that with you. His work on Sherlock was really not to my tastes either. So, yeah. For me, he is a big miss. I know, like, I gave Dracula, anyway, I gave that a try because I was doing some exercise on the elliptical and I was like, I need to watch something, and that's there, so let's give it a try for the end of this workout, which is what I did, and then I was like, ugh. It's, I think the way I described it to Mr. E was like, it's so try hard. It tries so hard to be something. And that something just doesn't work for me. Vampire fiction nowadays doesn't have the bite it used to have. Cinelli is on sale at Jerry's Archambault. It's got the Rose Doré Madder Lake is a beautiful color. It is really, really lovely. It said Rose Doré, and the rest is Madder Lake, like you would say Madder Lake. Madlac. Hey, Steve! Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great dinner. I need to keep the show rolling. I knew, like, I get distracted a lot, so I figured that I would, on purpose, make this drawing a bit more simple. Yeah, the lake... I don't know if it's really based on the French for it, because in French it's lac, and it's basically lacquer. Yeah, the orange cat will have darker lines. I'm just waiting for the... Well, the orange should be dry. Yeah, it really should. I'm trying not to do what I always do and make a great big mess by adding wet colors next to one another. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Joy. I hope you have a great nap. In my opinion, vampires shouldn't sparkle. I mean, if someone likes their vampire to sparkle, they're free to do so, as long as they don't make me watch it. I'm not much interested in... I saw Castlevania on Netflix. That was good. That was really nice, actually. In Sennelier's naming convention, lake means transparent. Perhaps that's really something with lac. I don't know what lac in French. It's L-A-C-Q-U-E. It's supposed to mean. Hey, good luck with the volcano, Ellen. There's a cat hair on my painting. Got it. Hey, I'm glad you were painting, Amisha. Dracula was... Well, I like some of the characters. The plot was what we could expect from Moffat and Gatiss. They really... Like, I wasn't well aware of who they were as writers. Then I saw Sherlock. And I'm a big Sherlock fan type person. I'm also super picky about my what I like in terms of characterization of Sherlock Holmes. And I watched, like... Oh, this is really whatever. I watched the first 3 seasons, I think, of that show. I was like, yeah, okay. But then, yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? I really don't like what they're doing with him. For something that is so steeped in actual science, they took so many shortcuts by never explaining things and being just like, it happened, deal with it. And I'm like, yeah, no. That's not the spirit of the thing. And then there were like secret agents, and I don't remember what, but I was like, and it was so sexist too. Oh, no, 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 no. I loved Elementary. That was good. That was more my shtick. I feel like Moffat and Gatiss, they have no idea how to write female characters. Like, just none. None. Sherlock should be a middle-aged person. Well, it would help in a way. I think Elementary did good with that. Because I think their actor for Sherlock is, I don't know, late 30s or is in his 40s. Like, it worked really well, and he was really good. And he did such a good job with the character. Yeah, Elementary is so good. I'm glad you like it as well. Like, I had no expectation whatsoever for Elementary, but I was like, I kind of have to give it a try. First of all, they have Lucy Liu as Joan Watson, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's like different, but not bad, you know. That's more appealing than other weird twists I've seen. So I was like, okay, sure. And then I watched the first episode, and I was like, okay, I need the rest. I need the rest of it, because they stay true to what the characters are about. And that's what's really important to me. And it's so good. I have yet to see the final season of it, because they sort of ended the show and then they decided to do another season, like a final season or something. But oh my gosh, it's good. And it's a really interesting way to talk about addiction. And I mean, Joan Watson in Elementary is an absolute badass. Like, I really felt like this was a cool, like a female character when you're like, awesome, she's awesome, like genuinely cool. And I'm like, I like to see her on screen. I don't feel like she's written by dudes who have no ideas what. Yes, Lucy Liu, she wears funny ties every episode, and before she gets on the suit with the ties, she has like these really fancy designer clothes, but that don't look, it doesn't look like something someone would wear on a red carpet. But she has like dresses that are really unique, and at some point they made like an article online about the what she wears, and you could see that like, whoa, the dress she's wearing is like worth $500 or like something out of everyone's budget. And I was like, oh, but she looks amazing in them. Oh, she's so cool. The Sherlock series, yeah, that's the one I think we're talking about, like, that I didn't like. San says, so true, I always feel so alienated by the female characters. I agree. Irene Adler is catastrophic. She's a catastrophe. She's like so bad. She's so bad. I was so sad to see that. I was like, what? The actors are good. Like, Cumberbatch is a really good actor, and Martin Freeman also does a great job, but the writing of the show is nonsense. Favorite version of Sherlock Holmes is the TV series. Is it the Granada one? That one is amazing. That one is so good as well. Especially when Jeremy Brett is like the first early seasons before his life sort of took a lot of hits. I think like his wife died or he got sick or something, and you could tell that he possibly didn't enjoy it as much, but the first few seasons of the Granada show are awesome. I really like when they sort of have Watson not be a dumbass. Because he never was a dumbass. Like, if you read the books, he's not a bumbling fool. He's just someone who doesn't have Sherlock's set of skill. So whenever Sherlock does something very Sherlocky, Watson is like, wait, what? How did you get from that to this? You have to tell me because what? And that's cool. I mean, fine. That's perfectly awesome and good. But yeah, whenever they have him be like a big fool, like a dumb guy, and I'm like, this is not fun, not great. I really liked Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy, and Cumberbatch was in that. He was good in that. Kind of cracks me up when people call him Cucumber Patch, because it's so it's such an inoffensive like thing to. It's not like rude. It's just kind of cute. It's something a kid might say. Like, I'm always like, aw. Plus, cucumbers are great, so. Did you ever draw Sherlock? I did it once some time ago. I should revisit it at some point. I made Sherlock a Siamese cat. But it's kind of weird because it's like... I find it difficult because I don't want to fall into cat breeds too much. But there's certain characteristics that I feel serve certain characters better. And I don't want to draw cats with hair either. Or like, to me it's the same thing as like drawing a cat with boobs because it's a female cat. I'm like, you know what? No. But yeah, I would have to use my... now that I have a good cat book, I think I would leaf through it and make a list of characteristics and like make a mutt cat that features a bunch of characteristics. And I think Watson was an orange tabby. Very surprising, right? Yeah, we were talking Sherlock and Elementary. Both came out at about the same time, but they're so different. Definitely not the same show. Oh no! Hey, thanks for being here, Cleo. Thank you so much. Oh, damn, I don't have my mouse. Do you like the Miyazaki movie The Cat Returns? You know I do. You know I absolutely do. I have, let me check. Let me see if I can see it. I have the art book, and I have the picture book, and I have the Blu-ray, I think, or the DVD. And I watched it so much. I love it so much. It's not a Miyazaki movie though. It's a Ghibli. I don't think Miyazaki made that one. Perhaps he made the movie in which there's Baron the cat, but in itself, The Cat Returns was made by someone else. Miyazaki is quite something. Imagine, oh my gosh, YouTube is having a... Where's my mouse? Sorry about that. Yeah, I have the art of... Hold on, let me approve all of these because YouTube is being a butt. Hold on, let me... This has to dry a bit though, so good timing. Yeah, I'm sorry, cats. Too many cats. Picture book. Returns. I don't know about the picture book. The picture book, I saw it at a comic book convention. I had to buy it because it's The Cat Returns. It is one of my favorite movies, so yeah, I just love it. Whenever you have the cats walking on two legs, it's the best bit. When there's the procession of cats walking on two legs, and you have like the bodyguard cats that chase away all the regular cats. It's just, oh, it's good stuff. I think if you check on Japanese Amazon, you might be able to find these books, or at least the art of, because I think this one is in Japanese still. So yeah, the picture book is basically the movie, like images from the movie and the story, and I mean, it's made for kids, obviously, but oh yeah, that bit is awesome. You have all these tuxedo cats. Tuxedo cats? Are they in screen? Yeah, the tuxedo ones. They're like the bodyguards, and they keep chasing the neighborhood cats away because they're not part of the Cat Kingdom cats. It's just... And you have Muta. Muta is this big... Oh, it's amazing. It's I love it so much. It's so cheerful. Like, it's not a big story that will like go up to your head. It's really simple. It's really fun. There's a lot of cats. There's nonsense. There's fun stuff. And yeah, it's good. So really like it. And that's the art book. Oh yeah, the backgrounds are always amazing. So I guess there's a lot of similar images, but you have a stronger focus on all the paintings in there. And like, I don't know if you can see I don't want to put that into paint, that would be a shame. But yeah, you have a bit of sketches and all of that. But I'm fairly sure this was not... I know it wasn't made by Miyazaki himself. I don't know how much of an influence or how much he took part of in the process of making it, but yeah, it was made by someone else. It's Baron. It's so good. It makes me so happy. It's a really fun movie. It's a bunch of cats. I really should look at these books more. Oh my god, the cats in there are awesome. The basic premise of the story is that you have the main character who's a young girl, and one day on her way back from school, I think, she ends up saving a cat from traffic. And she saves the cat by using her, I don't remember what it's called, but she has a specific thing for the sport she plays. I don't know what's it called. Maybe it's gonna say in there. Oh, it's her friends, actually. Yeah, she grabs her friend's lacrosse stick and saves the cat. And she's just like, for her, she just saved the cat. You know, it's nothing really peculiar. But turns out that the cat is the cat prince from the Cat Kingdom. And they decide to be really grateful to her and like, sort of thank her for saving the prince by doing a bunch of stuff, and she ends up in the Cat Kingdom, and it's so much fun. Also cats. Yeah, if you like art books, Young, I think you need to perhaps take a look into the stuff on Japanese Amazon. The shipping is maybe a bit daunting, but oftentimes you can find the books at like the same books, but at a much more decent price. Like instead of being, I don't know, $60 for an art of book, it can be like about $30 if you convert it. So you can get a few books, and it ships through DHL. So you pay shipping, you pay all the fees. Takes a couple of days. It's really quick. Though the DHL guys are super good at destroying boxes. Like, it's a good thing that Japanese Amazons wraps everything super well, because when it gets here, like, the boxes are all messed up. I'm like, what did you guys do with it? How did... Anyway. I kind of want an opera color for my shoes, but I'm just going to use a magenta instead. I don't have an opera super handy. In undergrad, they used to fill lacrosse sticks with grain punch, and you would do a shot. Ew. Ew. Yeah, we're back at shipping. I know. But it's just sometimes like you're like, oh yeah, the book is on Canadian Amazon, and it's like $80, and you're like, whoa, okay. And then you look on Japanese Amazon, and it's $20, and it's brand new, and you're like, well, I can order that and a couple of extra things, and it's gonna make the shipping worth it. So yeah, it's a... I mean, not all DHL. I mean, the DHL that delivers the Japanese Amazon stuff. Like, the boxes are super awesome, like, really well thought out, and everything in there is on a cardboard and shrink wrapped to the cardboard, so everything sticks in place, and the cardboard with the shrink wrap is glued to the bottom of the box. Like, everything is super well done. Nothing moves around. But that's a good thing, because the DHL guys, they really don't care. Sometimes, like, I get the box here and I don't have much to do to open them. They're already, like, all mushed. Well, even if you have a cat that's non-vocal, does anyone really not talk back to their cats? I always talk to my cats. Like, DHL has many ways of shipping out stuff, but the way they deal with the Japanese Amazon is always cracks me up. And the guys, like the employees who deliver the stuff, are always so jaded. I remember seeing some Canadian license plates. Yes. I'll help you find an American. I already have a boyfriend. I'm not sure he's gonna enjoy the idea. I talk to most things. Yeah, I do too. Do you think, Amisha, it's sometimes a byproduct of just like working from home or being like on your own part of the day? Sometimes I'm just like by myself and I will just talk to myself, because I think it helps remembering what I was going to do too. But yeah, we can buy used books from Amazon. Yep. So though sometimes, like for certain books, I've seen it a lot for Japanese books. They are much more expensive. Like, I would find a book and there's like one person selling only a used version of it, and it's like $60, and I'm like, ugh. And you have like a small shipping fee to pay often too. So I'm like, eh. And then I'm gonna, just for fun, I'm gonna look on Japanese Amazon see, and it's like $15 the same book. Like, even if the shipping is $15, it's still half the price that it was on the used book storefront. Yeah, my cat speak lumberjack cat. Pico is the big chatterbox, especially when it's time for food. And we always make jokes that Scout is the whiny one. Because the way their meow sound, it's really not the same. And Scout, she always sounds like she's whining about something. Which fits her character a lot. It fits her so well to be the whiny one. Aww, talking to yourself when you were a kid. That's so cute. I can see that. I can picture that so well. I think I was go for a snack. I'm good. Am I rambling too much? Is that because you want to send me out for a snack? I could eat Peko. Look at that juicy butt. Juicy, juicy, juicy butt. She's like, Mom, stop. I'm sleeping. It is so dumbfounding to see people who are not used to having cats or have never really had cats, how they talk about certain things when they see someone with a cat. Like, I've seen people be like, ugh, who talks to their pets with like a baby voice or something? I was like, do you really not talk to your pets with a silly voice? Like, we always talk to them with a silly voice, and we give them silly voices. That's a big part of it. Like, they only meow, they don't talk, so we always have a dialogue for them. And it's always like really dumb and really stupid stuff. I mean, they're just cats. You don't know. Sometimes I go to them and I say in a really cheerful tone, like, you're such a dumbass. Oh, you're so stupid. And I mean, they don't. It doesn't mean anything. A snack, how about a box of raisins? Blah! No, not the raisins. You guys don't want me to eat Peko. Are you sure she's not edible? She looks good. She has just a tiny bit of fat on her. Peko, Scout is a really slim cat. And Peko's physiognomy is a bit different. So she has like more of a wider torso, while Scout is really even, like she's really slim. Peko, she has what we call her barrel. I could eat a chunk out of the barrel. Raisins are the best snacks. Oh, well, you guys can have a party of raisins together. I leave you all the raisins. Have fun. And Catman is the best paint. I don't know if you guys possibly took notice. I guess not, but I made a playlist that I called the Catman Obsession. Because guess what? I have a couple of Catman reviews coming up at some point. I don't know why. I'm like, it's like the paints are not for me. Like, I really struggle with the paints, but they have such cute, awesomely well-made boxes. I'm like, I kind of want to review the boxes themselves, not in the paints, because we've seen the paints. We know what the paints are about. But they always come up with interesting boxes that look super sturdy with, nice plastic, and I'm always like, dude, I want to test out this box. I think I had paint on my finger, and then I tried to smudge the paint with my finger, and I only made it dirtier. Fat is what makes things taste good. That's why I want to eat Pico. Like, Pico has a tiny bit of fat on her. Scout has no fat on her whatsoever. Oh, I'm always talking about eating the cats. Sometimes, like, when Mr. E asks me, oh, what's the supper for tonight? And I'm like, it depends, which one do you want? Do you want Scout or Pico? They don't know any better. If they were actual kids that could understand what I'm saying, I would not do these stupid things, of course. But they're cats, they don't have a clue. I often call Pico papotin, and it's basically like a French cutesy word for bum. Oh, stretch. Oh, c'est tough. Oh, shoulder. Oh, squish. Compacton. There you go. It looks edible, but don't eat it. Salut. Salut, Pépette. Où es-tu belle? She looks like a caramel donut. Just like it. Oh my gosh. Amisha says we used to threaten to eat my uncle's cats. One weighed 15 pounds, 7 kilograms, and the other 18. We'd say he was history when he hit 20 pounds. Oh yeah, the slipper discussion too. Yeah. Lee says I also regularly discuss with Neuron what a great slipper he would make. I do the same. It's often to Mr. E that I comment. I'm like, when the cats are being annoying, I'm like, alright, we're gonna get a new hat. Which one do you want? Do you want the Scout hat or the Pico hat? Or slippers. Yeah, slippers is a good one too. Who wants to sign my petition to make a raisin emoji? Blah. Mothers constantly talk about eating their baby's toes because they're just so cute, so it happens with human progeny as well. Yeah, but I don't know, I mean, eating a toe doesn't feel as threatening as like, I'm gonna eat your whole person, your whole cat son. I mean, look at Pico, she looks so tender and fluffy. I won't believe you if you tell me you don't want to eat that. And I make joke that Scout is edible, but she's a bit burnt. Like, we cooked her for too long, so she's mostly charcoal at this point. Speaking of food, do you call your cats cabbage heads? Tête de chou? I heard it's a French endearment. If it is, it's maybe more from France. You seem to be forgetting that one tiny detail. I own you. Lee says, you're lucky we didn't get one of your brothers. A single slipper isn't as useful. Yep, that's the kind of stuff. Yeah, I do that sometimes with the cats when they try to run away from us. Sorry, when it's like time to put on their collars or something. Or to brush them. And they try to get away from me by walking away from me. And I'm always like, you forget that even if I'm not a tall human, I'm still much bigger than you. And I can catch up with you really easily. It was a running joke in the SCA back in the day. Children were good, especially with turnips and onions. That's hilarious. Oh, sorry. I keep getting hiccups. It sounds really gross. I'm sorry. I want to learn more French, but my first language is Spanish. I don't think it would be that hard to learn French if you know Spanish, because they have a lot in common. I know that when I was trying to learn Spanish in high school, it was made much easier because it's similar to French in so many ways. Like, I think, things have a gender, just like French, and it was not too hard to see parallels between certain words, and like in French and in Spanish. I still know a tiny bit of Spanish. And of course there's always, the couple of sentences that you can never forget because they were they were proto-memes. Like the old school memes were basically inside jokes with a much smaller scope. Sorry. So we would watch a show, like a soap type of show that was called Destiny in Spanish, and it was really rubbish. But and then we had cassette tapes also that would have like things we could listen to and follow up in a textbook. One of them that well, actually two of them that really stuck was ¿Dónde está el cuarto de baño? Which means where's the bathroom? And ¿Cómo se dice sandwich en español? Se dice bocadillo. ¿Cómo? Bocadillo. It's just, like things you learn by heart and you can never forget. Is Bebe a cat? My boyfriend is a musician. Sometimes he talks about needing some new guitar strings. Yeep. Yeah, I can sort of understand a bit of Spanish still. Speak it would be a bit more difficult, but I mean, that was high school, so that was easily 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago. I think it's not so bad. Oops, sorry. I keep on having to access things that are just below the mic. So I try really hard not to hit the mic, but I don't always succeed. Bebe is now my dad's Siamese. Aww. If you have a Siamese, are you in any way familiar with the books by Lillian Jackson Brown? She wrote a really long series of books, like sort of I just can't find the word, but they're like murder resolving type of books. But the main character has a pair of Siamese cats. And I was obsessed with it when I was a kid. The only French I remember is from Dexter's Lab. Omelette du fromage. That's not exactly right, too. C'est omelette au fromage. Omelette du fromage is like omelette of the cheese. Mystery books, okay. Oh my gosh, what? You understand a little. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are super similar with French and Spanish. So sometimes, like, if I hear someone speak Spanish, I can understand a couple of words because they look a lot like the French words, and the rest of the words I might be able to understand because I've known them before. Hey, have fun! Misha, say say hi to your sweetheart from us. Hey, it's a 90s cartoon. No, I mean, I totally expect the cartoon to have said omelette du fromage. Because, like, most of the stuff in cartoon that is not the language that it was made in, it's always wonky. Which is hilarious to us because we speak French, so whenever there is something that has French in it and it's really crummy, we laugh so much. My favorite example is the second Captain America movie. I love that movie so much, but the Algerian terrorist in the beginning, first of all, is not Algerian one bit. The guy is a French Canadian pure and through, like absolutely 100% French Canadian, and he speaks lumberjack French, and it's hilarious. Like I crack up every time, and I know some of the lines by heart because I'm like, this is insane, this is so bad, but it's hilarious because everybody takes it so seriously. Hey, thank you so much for being here, Young. Have a great day, and thank you for the nice words. Oh yeah, The Cat Who Smelled the Rat, The Cat Who Saw Red, The Cat Who Knew Shakespeare's. Yeah, those are the books. When I was much younger, I was really into mystery books. I read my first like Sherlock Holmes book because my grandpa had a couple in French, and I read them and I was like, wow, this is great. And I went to the local library and I was looking at, you know, the books, and I saw at some point that some mystery books had cats and mystery, and I was like, whoa. So I started reading them, like whatever I could find at the library, like I would put some on hold if possible, and I read many of them, and I draw so many comics with Siamese when I was a kid, like they were kids comic, but still I was like obsessed with Siamese cats. Also, my cat that I had as a kid, we were fairly sure was part Siamese. So, yeah, so that really like was near and dear to me. They're a bit cheesy, the books. They were written in the 80s, and like it shows at some points, but you know, when you're a kid you don't see that stuff. It was fun. Omelette of the Cheese sounds like a good name for a rock band. Chinese cartoon because it was very funny for words. It's all he can say the next day. Like he goes to yell at his sister, but yells that. Dexter's Lab was a really fun show. I really loved Samurai Jack back then. I think I'm mostly done with this drawing. Sounds like a great place to end the live stream. You guys need a break. I might do a couple of touch-ups on this during the week, I will see. But either way, I'm gonna scan it and share it on Instagram and Patreon. There's also a channel on the Discord server where you can share your version of this drawing if you did one. So if you colored it or painted it or whatever, there's a place where you can share it with the rest of us if you feel like it. The Discord server is a really nice place because it's just a bunch of us and we keep on talking the same we do during the live streams, and we keep going during the week, so it's pretty fun. The white I added was gouache. It doesn't show a lot because gouache is annoying like that, but the rest of it is watercolor. I confess my cats are named Dexter and Dee Dee. Aww! Pinky and the Brain, the Animaniacs. I wasn't a big fan of those. Like, I really loved Samurai Jack. There was an appeal there with the visual of it. And, like, come on, Jack is exactly the type of character I glomp onto. I'm like, I really have a thing for like super badass characters, badass, but with a sense of humor and that have silly things happen to them at times. That's like my comfort zone. So I loved it. And yeah, so Discord, if you have any question about stuff, make sure to check the description below. There might be an answer to your question down there in the form of a link. The drawing for this is still available on Gumroad if you want to get it. The drawings for the past live streams are still there too if you want to get those. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out today and being there and chatting and I love pink shoes. I think if I can buy neon shoes, like I usually buy New Balance shoes, but whenever they have neon models, I'm like, give me those. Like I will always have the stupidest shoes I can find. Is there anything more like, I mean, sad than white like sports shoes? It's so bad. Anyway. Rambling. Yeah, there should be a live stream next Saturday, and again I will try and share a drawing as early as I can, but that's usually during Friday. I share the link to download this drawing and you can print it and paint along during the live stream. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for being here. Have a great weekend and we will see each other quite soon. Bye bye. Bye the cats.